evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Ambassador Mikio Mori, the new Consul General of Japan in New York. Having just arrived 3 weeks ago, it is my great pleasure to thank you all for attending the consulate's monthly musical concert called Friday Night Live. My predecessor, Ambassador Kanji Yamanouchi, began the series of concerts in October of 2020. In the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic, it gave New York-based musicians a chance to perform, and at the same time, it gave music lovers a chance to experience the exhilaration of live music here as guests or through live stream. Led by tonight's musical group, the Broadway Chamber Players, or BCP, we are welcoming the spring rebirth of Broadway. After nearly 2 years of empty seats and stages, this city has come far in the recovery, no doubt because of the strong determination and resilience of New Yorkers and the city. I am happy to be here and very happy to see that more musicals and plays are opening again on Broadway every single day. BCP consists of Broadway's first-rate musical artists, from performers to composers and conductors, who engage in a wide array of music genres, from classical to jazz. Through this group, they can share their musical skills with wider audiences. Now, please let me introduce the 4 talented BCP artists who will be performing for us tonight. First, Setsuko Otake will be leading this ensemble, and furthermore, she is a co-founder and artistic director of BCP, an august chamber musician, orchestral performer, and teacher. Performs throughout the US and Japan in chamber groups and with local symphonies, including as the second oboe English horn position with the Riverside Sinfonia in Lambertville, New Jersey. On Broadway, she has been playing in the pit of many Broadway shows, most recently as an august for Public Theater's Soft Power production. And second, John Romeri, as flutist. He is a co-founder and artistic director of BCP as well, with Setsuko-san, an active orchestral performer, often performing with orchestras in the Northeast, such as Stanford and Albany and Lancaster symphonies, as well as Shakespeare in the Park in Central Park. An avid teacher, belong on the faculty of Carl Holmes School. On Broadway, he has performed in over 15 Broadway shows, including the most recent production of Rodgers and Hammerstein's Caruso. Then next, Todd Groves, Todd-san. On clarinet and saxophone is a composer and a performer of several wind instruments, which also includes world flutes. Feels at home in classical and Broadway pit, and orchestras to jazz ensembles, as a soloist and as doubler. On Broadway, has performed in Motown and Follies, and is currently performing in Disney's Aladdin. Lastly, but not least, Amy Ralske, Amy-san. As cellist has performed in classical, pops and Broadway orchestras. In Houston, performed in orchestras and its symphony, and in New York, the New York City Opera Orchestra, and the New York Pops, and the American Ballet Theatre. On Broadway, has performed in Elton John's and Tim Rice's Aida, among many other productions, and just finished a run of Flying Over Sunset. Thanks to the Broadway Chamber Players, we have a live evening of beautiful music ahead. In turns, dramatic and hopeful, with well-known and original compositions. I thank you sincerely again for choosing to join us tonight for Friday Night Live. And I look forward to hosting more musical events for you in the future. Now, please enjoy the concert. Thank you.
Ambassador Mori, for the introduction. We are so honored to be here. Sorry, I forgot about this. Thank you so much, Ambassador Mori, for having us here. We are so honored to be performing tonight for everybody. Hello, everyone. Good evening. Perhaps it's good morning in the people in Japan. On the other side of the screen, we would like to say thank you again for having us here. We are very happy to be here. We are Broadway Chamber Players. Mission is to continue Broadway's great tradition of live music by bringing its musicians from the pit to the stage. And in a chamber music setting, our home venue, where we usually perform, is St. Malachy's in the Midtown. Four of us here have met and played in different shows in the past. I think I've met Amy first at AIDA, and Todd perhaps at the Ragtime, right? And John, really long time playing together at the Mary Poppins. And so it's so nice to be able to play together in a different setting, in a setting like this, in a beautiful space. We formed this unusual combination of instruments ensemble first in 2015 to perform at the Uncle Rex Church in Arlington, Virginia. Uncle Rex is a very good friend of John's family, who is the music director of the Cathedral of St. Thomas More. And he has been a big supporter of us BCP. So I just want to say hello to Uncle Rick. Hello. And when BCP was asked to perform at the Friday Night Live here, I wondered what would be the best to showcase the mission and also the uniqueness and diversity of BCP. And this group came up to my mind. First piece we played is a Billy Strayhorn's Lash Life, arranged by saxophonist Billy Kerr, adapted by Todd Groves for us. And next piece we are going to be playing is two pieces by Debussy, two arabesques. It's a famous piano piece arranged for a trio by John. Arabesque is the form of the ornaments, a decorative motif of foliage, like interlaced pattern. In Japan, I think it's arabesque 文様、唐草模様のことだと思うんですけれども。And it symbolizes the long life and long existence, 長寿と繁栄をシンボライズしております。そういうちょっと面白い曲なんですけれども、and it's known as the now it's known as the Islamic decorative motif, but the origin is in Greece, and it's coming from the idea of trigonometry 3, and thus it's a trio. We're going to be performing a trio. Thank you.
Thank you again so much for having us here today. Next on our program is an original composition of mine called Active Agenda. And without being very programmatic with the music, not trying to tell a specific story, the general idea was to kind of paint a musical picture of a daily life in New York City. It's active, it's rhythmic, it's energetic, but it gets distracted in various ways. There's hopefully some beauty, but there's also some stuff that's not so beautiful about it. And it kind of takes us through the daily day of a busy musician or a busy person in New York City. A note about myself, you see that I have a lot of instruments up here. In the Broadway world, I'm what's called a woodwind doubler, which is a person who plays all these instruments, because the way it works often for shows is there'll be the woodwind section. Very often we'll have a flutist or an oboist, but also sometimes it'll have a reed book, which might consist of flutes, clarinets, a combination of oboes, bassoons, and depending on the show, we're required to play a bunch of different things. And I'm just thankful to be included in the classical end of things by the wonderful Broadway Chamber Players. I hope you enjoy Active Agenda.
The next two pieces that we'll play, one by Tchaikovsky, Lenski's aria, comes from his opera Eugene Onegin. This was written in the latter half of the 1800s. And the following piece also was also written in the late 1800s and also kind of had a similar theme, just a different outcome. And I'll explain. In the opera Eugene Onegin, it's a story about risk and reward and risk and loss, maybe. Lenski never professed his true love to the woman that he loved and saw his best friend steal her from him. And this aria that we'll be playing is his kind of final farewell note because he challenged him to a duel. That's what you did, right? And so in this letter, he reminisces about his life and about his innocent youth and where it all had gone. So it's a very reflective letter. I think it's been a very reflective time for all of us over the last 2 years. On a kind of behind the scenes note, Tchaikovsky, right before he started writing this opera, a former composition student of his, wrote him a letter expressing her love and admiration for him. And at first he dismissed it, then he was working on this opera, and this, composers, this was so passionate for him that he started to rethink his own life, rethinking that I don't want to be like Lenski. And so halfway through the opera, he received another letter from his admirer, and he responded, they met, and they ended up getting married. Now, unfortunately, somewhat similar to Lenski, their marriage did not last, only lasted a few months. But yet this aria is one of the most beautiful things I feel that Tchaikovsky maybe has written. Elgar's piece, the Salute d'Amour, also written about love, but was composed, had a very different track. So I don't want to leave you with a completely negative viewpoint of love. Elgar wrote this as an engagement present to his wife. And unlike Tchaikovsky and his wife and Lenski, they had a very different path, very successful. So the piece itself that has lived on and been widely successful, as well as his marriage, have kind of had a similar parallel path. So hope you enjoy Lenski's aria and Elgar's Salute d'Amour. The next piece that we'll play is the Intermezzo Sinfonico by Viscagni, written for his opera Cavalleria Rusticana. Italian, it's translated in Italian as rustic chivalry. We chose this piece because we wanted to make a dedicated piece to the 3.6 plus million Ukrainian refugees and the other countless millions of Ukrainians that are staying and fighting for their homeland. Rusticana is about a soldier that returns home from war and it doesn't look recognizable to him afterwards. As Broadway musicians, we're storytellers by nature, and sometimes we look towards music to represent emotions that we can't use with our words. So this piece came to mind. It's one of the most beautiful intermezzos. It's just a purely instrumental interlude in the middle of the opera. And I think it really captures kind of that longing feeling that I think everybody kind of has a pit in their stomach these days about all of this. And that we wish we can't send enough hope and prayers and thoughts to these people that have just been displaced, and that we hope that they can find their home again. So we want to also thank you guys for being here.
getting a backpack. So we're coming to the end of the concert, and we are going to be playing the last piece by Dvorak. This is a famous string quartet called American. Dvorak was a Czech, and at the time he's living, it was called Bohemia. But he found a job in New York City, and this piece was written during the stay of his United States living. He actually lived on the East 17th Street for quite a long time. This Dvorak string quartet is such an iconic piece. I'm sure string players are not really happy about wind players playing this piece, but since it's such a beautiful piece, we just wanted to play it too. Before we play this piece, I would love to thank again to the Consulate General of Japan, New York City, and to Ambassador Mori, and all the staff people who made this happen, and all the film crews who is filming us. Thank you so much for doing everything for the musicians, and we are so honored to be here, and I can't find the right word to how to thank you for this cause of this Friday Night Live. It means so much for us, the musicians, to feel being supported, which was very difficult to feel during the lockdown. We were completely shut for almost 2 years, and it's just very emotional. It was very emotional 2 years. So it means so much for us musicians in New York that Consulate General of Japan is hosting this concert. And thank you from bottom of the heart.
And with that, tonight's concert comes to a close. We would once again like to thank our amazing performers from the Broadway Chamber Players, Setsuko Otake-san, Romeri, Ralske, and Todd Groves. Once again, thank you so much for coming out tonight and giving us a wonderful performance. And to all of our supporters, thank you for attending tonight's event and for your continuing support of the Friday Night Live series. Our next concert will be on April 22nd, starting at 5 p.m. and will feature an incredible jazz quartet. So be sure to follow us on social media so you don't miss out on what is sure to be an amazing evening. We wish you all a good night and hope to see you next time. Thank you.